Hi, my name is Brian Pulowski. I'm a professional voiceover artist and coach. And in this video, we're going over a question that I get asked countless times, over and over and over again. And with good reason, because it could be a mystery and there's so many different possible answers. The question being, when you audition, should you read the entire script or just submit a segment of the script? I can save you some time. The quick and dirty answer is just read a segment of it. However, there are some very important things to be considering when you do audition to determine whether or not that you want to read the whole script or just a segment of the script. Should I read the entire audition script? Is a sample reading the same as an audition? But does reading the entire script possibly help my audition out? These are all great questions, and they're basically asking the same thing on when you audition, should you be reading a segment of the script or the entire script? And my personal recommendation, just to give you a quick answer, is just read a segment of the script. But there's many reasons for that. And yes, there are times when I'm working with some of my students that I do recommend to them to read the entire script. This question gets asked all the time in my coaching. If you've thought about this question yourself or had similar questions in your head going around, it's tough when you're getting started and knowing how to book a gig, how to get these things. I highly recommend that you find a coach that you can work with to give you some good advice to get you started. The best investment you can put into being a voiceover artist is to get the guidance. A lot of us go straight for quality equipment and possibly paying for the pay-to-play sites. Your strongest, best investment when you're first getting started is find a coach, find a good mentor that can help you along the way. I do that for many of my students, and I would like to help you out as well. If you're interested in booking a free 30-minute consultation with me, zero charge to you, let's just get together and see if we can answer a few of your questions, get rid of some of those pressing things that you've got in the back of your mind, and get you started on the right path. That's my gift to you. Go down into the description below, click the link, and we'll set you up. We'll book you for a free 30-minute consultation with me. No charge to you. Let's get you off on the right foot. Well, it's tricky because we're in a business of rejection. It's about 90% of the auditions that we do, and that's lucky if you can book 10% of your auditions, is rejection, and oftentimes you don't hear back. So the first thing that you do when you're auditioning is you start questioning, what can I change to get better? And the truth is, you're already probably doing everything you can. You're just not a good fit for that project. And so then you start questioning, what if I do it longer? What if I do it shorter? So here's the details. Here's what's really going on. Casting directors and clients, maybe they're the same person, maybe they're not. That's typically who's going to be listening to your auditions. They say about 10 to 20 seconds is all you're hearing. So if you're recording more than 20 seconds, you're potentially wasting your time. Now, I know what that's like. Sometimes you really get into the script and you feel it and it goes longer, and that's okay. But if you find yourself forcing the script or working on it really long to get in a good audition, if you're longer than 20 seconds, chances are it's not even going to be listened to. And sometimes it's only 5 seconds. I've had casting directors tell me that they get in about 5 seconds. They can tell if the tone isn't what they're looking for, if the pacing's off. There can be countless possibilities for why your voice is not a good fit for their project. So then that question comes up, does submitting a longer audition help your audition in any way? And the answer is not likely. After about 10 or 20 seconds, if they like your voice, you're in. It doesn't matter chances are, even if they like you, they might not even be listening to the whole thing. They might just be like, yep, she's good. Yep, he's good. And you're shortlisted and they move on from there. You could be hired and they didn't even hear your entire audition. Okay, so that being said, the truth is I've actually booked gigs based on my audition and never had to do it because they just accepted the audition. The audition is exactly what they wanted. So I ended up giving them the full script. But a lot of those times, it was just a short thing. It was like maybe 20 words, 50 words. I can't remember exactly. And during the audition, I just felt it. I just went through the whole thing knowing maybe they're not going to hear it. And they booked it, paid for it, all off the audition. I didn't even have to redo the whole thing. I didn't even have to do a final. The audition was the final. All right, so now let's talk about the clients that request a longer audition or a full script audition. Sometimes you're going to run into a casting director or a client that wants you to read a longer portion for your audition. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. It could be an audiobook where they want to get a really deep understanding of your audition. And so they need a lengthier one, longer than 20 seconds. Maybe they're going to be listening to a minute or 2 minutes of your read for a long, maybe a 3-hour audiobook. Another reason could just be as simple as the casting director or client wants to hear a longer audition and not just the typical 10 to 20 seconds that many VOs submit. So my recommendation is, I guess, just do what you feel comfortable. I tell my students, if you feel comfortable reading longer audition or the entire script, then do that. Nobody's forcing you to do it, but if they're asking for it, then you might want to consider it because it sounds like that's what they're looking for to hire. So you have two options, really. If you don't feel like reading a longer audition or you don't feel like reading the entire script for your audition, then, well, you just don't audition for that part, and that's okay. There'll be more. Or you just fulfill what the client or casting director is asking for. And then I'll have some students that'll ask, well, Brent, should I change a couple words to make it so they can't use it? I don't know. I have in my heart a feeling that most people are good. I think I look for good intention in most people. I don't think people are stealing your work. Certainly not clients that are going to reach out to you, or I don't know. I mean, I guess I have heard stories where people say that they found their work online somewhere, heard it somewhere, and they never got paid for it. The client or casting director just used the audition. And I'm sorry that happens. I tend to trust and hope that they're not doing that to me. And so I will do it. I don't mind submitting a longer audition. And I'll submit the entire script if they're very specifically asking for that. And I don't tend to change words. The worst thing you can do, I tell my students this all the time. Write this down. The worst thing you can do is change the company's name thinking that if you change the company name, they can't use it. So for example, if you're reading a script for Becker, let's just say, so here at Becker, we like to produce the highest quality ballpoint pens. Okay, great. If you change that and say, here at Backpacker, we make the highest quality pens, that's fine. You're right. You got them. They can't take that and steal it. But here's the problem. Statistically, everybody's favorite word is their name. And that applies 100% to businesses. So if you take a script and change a business name to something else because you're fearful they're going to steal it and use it, then my recommendation I would tell my students is don't do that. Don't audition. Put a little faith in the company because you're not going to get booked by changing the company's name. It's almost insulting to them, and it's going to stand out. Even if it's the most picture-perfect audition, changing the name of a business is just disaster. You're not going to get the job. It's going to stand out to them so much. They're going to be listening to your audition, and then they're going to hear what should be their business name said incorrectly or said with another name. They're going to be like, it's something I strongly urge you to not do. Now, cherry picking would be if you take parts of an audition and you just only submit certain parts. That's not a bad idea. So here's something to look for. Write this one down. This is another good note. As you're auditioning, when you read through the audition script and you get an idea, that's what I recommend. Go through the script first. As you're going through the script, look for things that you can billboard, okay? So billboard means that it's going to stand out. Always their company name, always going to be a slogan to billboard. You can tell if there's certain lines in this script that they really want you to punch up. Those are things that you might want to cherry pick in your audition. For example, so you have a longer script, you've already decided I'm not reading the entire script, but you want to read like maybe the first 2 lines, but then at the end is their tag. So maybe their tag is, at Becker Ballpoint Pens, we define the best, whatever it is. Okay, so what you could do is looking at the script, read the first couple lines, and then jump to the bottom and hit that tag because it's going to stand out in audition. Clients like to hear their business name, and specifically, they really want to hear what you're going to do with their name. Now, a good client, a good casting director that knows what they're doing, they know that they're going to include parts that are important to them in the audition script. But if you don't, if it's long and you're like, I'm not reading this whole thing, if you see a tag in there, you should hit that tag. So whatever it is, hit those first couple lines and there's so much strategy in this. And it goes back and around, and I could do a whole webinar on script analyzation and how to get into it. And if that's something you're interested and you want to hear more about, leave that in the comments below so I can maybe put something together for all of you. One thing I get asked by my students all the time, though, is you're always recommending providing a sample reading. Clients, casting directors should ask for a sample reading. VOs offer to give a free sample reading. You definitely should be doing that. But is there a difference between a sample reading and an audition? Not really, but yes, it depends on how you're looking at it. A sample reading is similar to an audition in that you're giving the client, the casting director, the sound of your voice to see what it's going to sound like with their script. But now a sample reading is also helping the client because they're hearing how their script is written and it's read professionally by you, by me, by whoever. And they can get a good idea if their script is going to work just by working with the VO and getting that free sample reading. So in that regards, it's similar to an audition because it's putting your voice to their words to see if it matches. Where it differs, though, is maybe if you're already hired and they want a sample reading. Okay, so the question is, well, why would they want a sample reading if you're already hired? Well, the truth is, it's a good idea. So if you're hired by a client or you hire a VO, you want to get that sample reading because you're like, great, I like you, you're hired. Here's the script. Give me about a minute. Give me 30 seconds, whatever the time frame is. Give me a sample of it so we can determine, is your tone correct? Is your speed correct? Is the inflection correct? Is the attitude, whatever personality that you're putting into it, is that all correct for what I'm looking for? So in that regards, a sample reading is not like an audition because you've already booked the job. However, you're giving a sample to the client so that they can determine, yep, this is good. Take what you did and do that for the whole project. It's going to save you time. It's going to save them time. I love sample readings. Highly, highly recommend them. One of the greatest challenges when you're a new VO and you're just starting out is understanding script analyzation, getting into how much of the audition you should put into it, how much time you should be spending, because that's another factor. Is your time is money. Even if you're not making money, the amount of time that you spend on each of your auditions, and you should be putting out 10 a day. If you're spending 5 minutes at 10 a day, you're close to an hour just on auditions. That's a lot of your time. And time is money. You want to get quicker at that, which is another reason why you maybe don't want to submit these long auditions. But it's tough when you're just starting out to know how to do it right. That's why working with a coach is imperative. And if you're interested in getting some of these questions answered, some of the roadblocks that you keep pushing up against, I'm offering you a free 30-minute consultation with me at no charge to you. Follow the link below. Let's book a consultation, get together, and make sure that you're going down the right road, that you're taking the right steps to be successful, because that's what I want. I want you to be successful. Thanks for dropping in. If you have any questions or comments, I completely welcome those and look forward to hearing any comments and feedback in the comment section below. I hope to hear from you soon. Until next time.